The drive from Louisiana into Texas included miles of bridges suspended a few feet above marshland, making a pretty unique driving experience. Saturday night, I visited Team Brentergy World Headquarters and Hookah Bar, just outside of Dallas. More from that night is on Brent's channel. And the next day, I proceeded in the counterintuitive direction of northeast so that I could visit an old friend in an old city with an old problem, St. Louis. There's a lot to see. We saw the field where Charles Lindbergh took off in 1927 for the first transatlantic flight. We saw the Jewel Box, which is an elaborate greenhouse that inspired Tennessee Williams' 1944 play, The Glass Menagerie. We drove past houses fashioned from repurposed World War II battleship steel. We ate toasted ravioli, a local invention from the 30s. And we saw numerous locales and references to the 1904 World's Fair. Do you notice a trend here? St. Louis is a city yoked by its own history. It used to be the fourth largest city in America. Now it's 52nd. It used to have over 800,000 residents. Now it has less than 400,000. It used to be an international destination, and now it's a place you leave. Why? Well, all American cities suffered economically in the 50s and 60s from white flight. That's white people moving out to the suburbs and commuting to work in the cities rather than living there. Why did they move? Well, for one thing, the civil rights movement succeeded at desegregating the schools. So if you want segregation, you have to move where only white people live. Also, more people bought cars at the time, a lot of highway infrastructure was built, and having a yard just became a lot more fashionable. So people with money left. All cities endured white flight. Why did St. Louis have it worse? Because this was followed by an era of job loss in the manufacturing sector as machines replaced people and later on businesses moved to find cheaper labor. One of the remaining businesses holding St. Louis together is Anheuser-Busch Brewing, makers of Budweiser. As part of their local commitment, they give free tours of their massive plant and headquarters. The machinery is truly grand in an old world way of locomotives, steam shovels, and other belching, humming, chugging juggernauts of history. The day before we toured this plant, Budweiser announced they would be laying off 1,400 employees, many of them at this location, a consequence of the company being bought last summer by a Belgian firm. The Budweiser layoffs were big and bad local news last week. But there is a ray of hope in all this. Since 2000, the population of St. Louis has actually grown by a tiny margin, as cities have returned to being more fashionable to live in than suburbs. It's the first population growth since 1950 and holds the potential for this city to pull itself up and start writing a new story. But it's a tenuous future, since it's coinciding with such a dangerous national economic situation. Good luck, St. Louis. You need it. In the next video, I go to Lincoln, Nebraska, and spend some time with Dan Brown.